So Raw was Raw bad issue. Kevin Owens, looking a little better than previously before he got injured. No viewers on Sami Zayn and how he's doing. Bit of a mini rant before we can after the review, so I can just cut this short and I don't have to drag on with me complaining for an extra 2 to 3 minutes over how I feel about how the show could have been. So we had Charlotte Flair gloating over her opportunity against Becky Lynch stripped and suspended for her behavior for the past couple of weeks after distrusting her opportunity for the women's title all because she didn't apologize. Other than that, other than that, the show was a bit better and had more exciting matches. But I want to go into that later. This was a gloating segment. I understand Charlotte was a little bit more deserving. She was a bit more calculating in the mic. She doesn't have that certain accent that makes her more annoying or makes her look a certain age that she does not. It was more distinguished, and now she's going to be headlining the show. That means two SmackDown women had an opportunity to face a Raw woman, and the SmackDown Women's Champion is getting overshadowed over all the star power, where Asuka has the disadvantage of not looking the part, not built like a women's champion. She had her undefeated streak stripped away last year, and she's now holding the women's title with nobody wanting to earn it. Shouldn't there be a target on her back? Thanks two of those top women in this brand obviously don't want to compete against the women's champion at WrestleMania. Why don't we have a number one contenders, or at least her defending the women's title in the Elimination Chamber instead of this stupid tournament? It kind of broke my rule that I planned on doing, but it makes a lot more sense than what in the hell we just got. It does. And I'm not trying to say this so I can feel prude, and I think Asuka's underrated. I think Asuka's a pretty decent performer. I see why WWE have signed her for certain reasons, but just spewing Japanese and having a juggling struggle to speak English, it will fall you off brutally unless you have a translator or you just become the strong silent type. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't always have to talk to show an impact in the WWE, and that's been proven time and time again. Umaga never spoke English, and look at the success he has been to being a number one contender for WWE titles, winning belts, and being proven to be one of the top heels in the company for the past couple of years until his sad death back in 2009. The Great Khali, he was world heavyweight champion at one point. He was threatening in one of the top heels, and those were foreigners. Asuka's now like a women's champion, an NXT women's champion, and she did all this crap. She had to vacate the belt. I think she's held it for that long. She was going to the main roster, and still nobody takes her seriously. She wasn't even issued into the segment after Charlotte was declared to face off against. Charlotte was supposed to face off against Ronda Rousey come WrestleMania, and there was a segment involving Amanda Rose, the Iconics, and Amanda Rose and Sonya Deville versus the Iconics and Naomi and Carmella. It was an alright match, even though it had the Iconics doing nothing, just issuing and trying to take a few bumps, while Naomi and Carmella were trying to have some sort of chemistry. These were forced upon teams, by the way, for those women's tag, while there was actual factions for women back in 2015. Thanks to this Give Divas a Chance movement, that was a pseudo-feminist movement for women's wrestling that didn't go anywhere to begin with. Just later on, a woman got a sex tape, leaked nudes everywhere. These women are making bad choices, back and forth, getting relationships with wrestlers, recent divorces, always having their relationships speak more than their matches. It just doesn't impress me, this women's division have been for the past couple of years. And I get it. I get why these fans want to see bigger matches. These people want to see, the women's division taken more seriously, and I can see why. And it's improved, but it's fallen off. They have no charisma. They have no characteristics to show that they're connected to the fans. The wrestling isn't that impactful. It looks like they struggle more than the males in wrestling high-profile matches. Hell, mid-card matches, when it's supposed to showcase their abilities. And just letting them do fucking half-assed, sluggish Irish whips and corner strikes everywhere while struggling to show that a fake punch looks faker than a fake punch, and showing that these women are trying too hard to be the male wrestlers that they're forgetting they're female. Sex does play a huge factor in where you're going to be. It sucks to say that, but these women, their Elimination Chamber matches are not going to be bigger than the male Elimination Chamber matches. Money in the Bank, they're not going to be bigger as the male. Women can't take that much punishment. I hate to say that, but that's the cold hard truth. You can do something with the women's division, but you got to do better than this. You're just forcing upon tag teams that have no chemistry or have no smooth movesets to actually deserve a tag team title. It's just stupid. And why you have to make this Elimination Chamber while you have Asuka that hasn't shown up on SmackDown for the past 2 weeks. And by the way, Elimination Chamber is still this Sunday. It's been at least 2 weeks since the Royal Rumble. Why force a pay-per-view when you have little to none build-up coming up to WrestleMania and all, and we have no matches, we have no top stars to actually issue top matches. Yes, you have McIntyre. Yes, you have Daniel Bryan. Yes, you have the Usos. Jimmy Uso already got arrested. This video is late for SmackDown, but I don't care. I need time to rest. I have work. I have school. I have all this crap to deal with. I can give little to crap about what you people gotta say. The viewership speaks for itself, so I'm not going to explain myself. But you're welcome to comment. Whatever, Kyle. Carmella and Naomi won, and I think they're deserved as the last spot for the Women's Elimination Chamber. For, I think, the SmackDown side, there was no point for this triple threat tag match. I don't know what this was supposed to do. While the Usos were just trying to think that every promo they do is a rap battle, I know they're trying to happen themselves up for this interview that they call themselves now the Make a Biz show, TV, Make Miz TV, where they're trying to make Miz and Shane feel like they spent years together, while Shane spent the latter half of his career as commissioner of SmackDown feuding with most of the wrestlers. And showing that nobody respects him until the Miz came over to make a sob story. This was a forced tag team to have Miz do something, while Shane, part of the McMahon family, he's an authority figure. And while the Usos are just trying to, they're a good tag team. Don't get me wrong. I love the Usos. I love their moveset. I love them as a tag team. They have great chemistry. But when you came from having the top feud back in 2018 against the New Day, and now you got a feud with forced upon tag team champions with the Miz and Shane, that I know they're gonna do a breakup story with them soon. There's no point. Really, no point. Even from the start of their tag team, it had just Shane carrying the load while Miz is just standing there hyping Shane up. So the segment was alright, and having them super kicked while they kissed titles, that was pretty cool. To try to hype up pay-per-view. It was forced upon pay-per-view. Then the main event was a gauntlet match involving Daniel Bryan facing off against Kofi Kingston first. Kofi Kingston then pinned Daniel Bryan off, I think, using an SOS. And Jeff Hardy then pinned Samoa Joe, then lost to Styles, and then an RKO out of nowhere. Nah. Yeah, I think he just RKO out of nowhere somebody for Randy Orton to get the last spot in the Elimination Chamber come this Sunday in WWE Network. The match was alright, and Kofi Kingston had to do double overtime for, the New Day. They're starting strutting against everybody. Why were they trying to make this gauntlet match last a lot of the show? Gauntlet match was an entire hour. At least half an hour, I think above half an hour. It took a long ass time, and Kofi Kingston had to go through a lot of 20-minute matches. He had some great moves. Trouble in Paradise transitions, the way he came back. It felt like his independent self. This is not like we've seen him do one-on-one matches while he was affiliated with the New Day. I didn't know why Big E was holding a lump of meat on his shoulder. That wasn't that explained. We didn't even have that many matches. We had a lot of women's matches. we had Miz TV segment, 60 days. It was a 60-day suspension. So literally, SmackDown is still a glorified Raw recap with just they have their own belts. No one cares about the U.S. Championship because you gave it to R-Truth. Your women's champion is literally irrelevant at this case, thanks Ronda's in the WWE now. And you have now denounced Daniel Bryan as being a glorified mid-carder, as being the top world champion in your own show. This show at least gets a 4 out of 10 for at least trying to have an entertaining main event, with Kofi Kingston literally disheveling everyone, even though it should have been Daniel Bryan carrying the load and trying to see if he can go the distance. He's the WWE champion, but you had Kofi Kingston built up strong. Why? That made no damn sense. As much as Black Power goes into me, man, like I give a shit about Kofi Kingston that had a collection of titles anyway with multiple U.S., Intercontinental, and Tag Team belts. He comes in when it could have been at least Biggie Langston or Xavier Woods. People a bit more over than Kofi Kingston in the New Day getting a shot at the WWE title. Or Rusev, or Shinsuke Nakamura, former champions that weren't even in the show to begin with, weren't issued a number one contender shot, but Kofi Kingston is? What happened? This was a poor show. They were trying to issue too much dialogue in a show that needed a bit more matches. If they wanted, they could have had the damn promos in the backstage. I keep saying this because it makes a bit more sense and causes a bit more screen time if you have 2 hours to actually issue a show. I'm just saying this out of experience because watching Raw back in 2003 to 5 is a bit more easy to stomach than watching SmackDown in 2019. It's a bit more packaged well. They know how to actually show the authority figures and what's going on in the main show backstage. So everything, the politics, the matchmaking are dealt with while anything else can happen in the ring. And the people that actually deserve the screen time are the guys holding the belts, or the guys actually with something to win or lose in a match. This gauntlet match was alright, but they should have made Daniel Bryan go the distance if they're willing to actually make this Elimination Chamber at least advertisable. Now you prove that Kofi Kingston is going to at least be eliminated the first time he gets in the damn ring when he's the last one called up. This is going to be a crappy pay-per-view. I can't wait for this to fail. It sucks for me to say that. I wish I could not be negative. Happy Valentine's Day to whoever knows this video is going to be on a Thursday. It's just, wow. From all this crap, Charlotte did not compete. Asuka was not issued once backstage to know what's going to be happening in the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and with not that many matches shown. Thanks, we had 2 weeks of development for this pay-per-view to come up in the middle of February. What was the point of this entire show? What was it? No qualifying matches, no grudge matches, no tag matches, not even a tournament for the women's title that are just getting introduced, but you put them in an Elimination Chamber match for some apparent reason, and nobody's that, disgusted in the rushed development. WWE thinks that's how you make a belt. The Cruiserweight Classic was better than this. And no one watches 205 Live for the life of them as much as they want to call Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy one of the top stars and the top wrestling workers in the damn company when they don't even wish to watch 205 Live consistently after SmackDown. That you're putting an extra, I don't know how long that is, but that's a 5+ hour gap of wrestling content that I wouldn't force myself to watch if I had the time to. God. Okay, this show is bad. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. I don't care which. Thanks for watching.